My name is Ben Miller. I'm an assistant professor at the University of Colorado, and I direct the Eugene S. Farley Junior Health Policy Center. Somewhere in our journey, we lost our way. But it's okay. It was dark. It was a little scary. We weren't sure which direction to go. We knew we had to go in some direction, so we followed whoever stepped up. Let's take you back. It started with the philosophers. Aristotle, Plato, you remember. They taught us stuff, right? We read the books, we read the articles, or we understood who they were, but they taught us something. There was this guy. He probably got more attention and led the way a little bit more than others, and his name was René Descartes. You've heard him, yeah. So Descartes, he was so confident in this notion of what he called dualism that we all followed, and we thought it made sense. But did it? Creating a hierarchical arrangement between souls was something that we had never, ever thought of. But yet, it resonated with some of us, and so we kept going down that path. We can go to the 1800s, and we can look at the ways that people were treated in systems. We can look at how folks with so-called mental health were ostracized and placed in hospitals or in back rooms of your house with your family. And you were told, let's keep them there. They're not like us. We followed that path. And did it work? We can blame policy. We can look in the 1960s, and we can look at some of the first pieces of federal legislation that ever came out around mental health. And we can say, was this the path that we were supposed to take? Because we all took it. And did we know better? We can blame fear. We can blame fear of the unknown. When they stepped up and said, let's go down this trail, we followed. Because fear was something that we all could understand. In this day and age, my friends, I think it's time for us to reconsider which path we're on. There's a line. This line is profound, and it is seen every day by the people that walk into your office. There's a line, and this line has created different streams of consciousness, different ways of thinking that have led us to believe that there is indeed a difference between our mind and our body. Think about it. How we train, how we pay, how we policy, how we deliver, and most importantly, how we expect. People, you, me, us, we present in wholes, not pieces. But yet when we enter into this thing that we call a system, we expect fragmentation. When was the last time that someone walked into your office and expected that it was going to be integrated? The data don't lie. We've talked to you. We know your stories. When 2/3 of you tell us that the most difficult specialty for you to access for your patients is mental health, we listen. When we look and see who shows up where and find that 20% of individuals are solely presenting for mental health need in the primary care space, we heard that. But yet, what we are offering people is so dissatisfying that they're not getting the care that they need. 46% of us, draw a line down the room, half are going to have some type of mental health or substance use issue in our lifetime. The other half of the room, yeah, you're not blameless here. There's a role for you because you're going to be affected. So folks, this is all of us. When statistics hover in that 40% range, what do we call that? Typically, we call that normal. But yet, what have we done? We've created something that's abnormal. We've created a system to take care of a piece that is purely wrong. 67% of us that have a need do not get the care that we need. 67%. Think about that just for a second. Where can you point to any business and say, well, we actually were really successful with 33% of our clientele? No. We're failing. And our children, we have a framework for this. We know that we can actually prevent mental and emotional issues in kids, but we don't act upon it. 35% of our children are only being treated for their quote-unquote mental health needs in their pediatric setting. What do we do with this? And then if you saw the news this week, you know that since 1999, we've seen a 25% increase in suicide in this country. 25%. And do you know that most of those individuals, the last person they saw was you? What do we do with this? Well, we have Convergence. This is a moment in healthcare unlike any other. This is a moment that is screaming for us to step up and to lead. This is a moment around innovation. But this moment, like so many other moments before it, will come and will go. And what will we do with it? If we are truly committed to creating a system, which is not what we have now, but to creating a system for the people of this country, what will we do with mental health? We have a precedent here. There's a history that we can look back on. There's fields that have come and gone. Evolution is a word that we often use to describe the change in process. The evolution of the zoos is one that I think is actually very telling here. It took centuries for us to evolve in the way that we treated animals. It took centuries for us to realize that if we kept a lion in a porcelain box just for the amusement of us, that it would eventually die. Centuries. It evolved. I don't know about you, but I am not content to evolve. The word revolution has been uttered from this stage many times. But if we believe that this is truly a propitious moment in healthcare, then we need to be leading that revolution. Patience may be a virtue for some, but it is not one that I'm going to have when it comes to this revolution. There are people out there every day that are screaming for change. And if they're not, they haven't experienced what we're giving them. Healthcare is tremendously frustrating when you're actually sick. Mental health, physical health, these terms, these ways of thinking have brought us to a place that we are now content to actually talk about them, but is that a revolution? I argue not. And the irony here, folks, is that our communities, they've already told us the answer to this. Our communities have figured out ways to solve these problems that are much better than anything that we're going to come up with in the last 2 days. Our communities of solution have taught us that they indeed know that health is health and is health. They don't see themselves as mental or as physical or as whatever you want to diagnose it. They see themselves as people. You see yourselves as people. We've built sidewalks throughout healthcare that no one walks on. It's true. Sorry to let you down. But it is true. There are sidewalks that we've put millions of dollars into that not one foot will ever walk on because it's not what they need. People in our communities have chosen a different path. They've walked their own line in the grass. They've decided which direction they're going to go. And oftentimes, this is not the direction that we may think they should go. But their solutions are working for them. So I argue today that this is truly a moment to bust up some sidewalks. This is truly a moment for us to pay attention where people are walking and to start to pave where they have walked. This is not about putting a new park bench on the sidewalk. This is not about moving a tree from here to there. This is not about filling a hole in the sidewalk. No. Workarounds aren't going to get this, folks. Great ideas usually aren't built off the back of a workaround. Innovation happens when we totally transform what we know is not working. Innovation is disruptive. Innovation is going to put people out a little bit. When that sidewalk gets busted up, people are going to say, well, where is it? I'm used to that. You're going to say that. But is that what's best for the people that you're serving? Primary care. This is not about you. Mental health. This is not about you. Policy, payment. This is not about you. If we make the mistake of believing that it is about the individual, we have failed. This is about us. Us as broadly defined as you want to define that. This is about you, this is about me, this is about the people that you see every day working in tandem to do something transformative. Mental health? No. Physical health? Absolutely not. Health? Yeah. Let's do that. Primary care. Leaders. It's your turn. Which path are you going to take? Thanks.